Shannon Sharpe, Chad Ochocinco, their thoughts on what they're hearing the Browns and that second pick in the draft.
Many scouts believe the Browns will take Travis Hunter, number 2 overall, and focus on a quarterback later in the draft. A multitude of NFL scouts are reportedly of the belief that there is no way Shedeur Sanders would play for the Browns, even if the Browns were interested in picking him. There's reportedly thought among scouting circles that if Hunter were to go to Cleveland, he would have a Jim Brown type impact on the franchise. Browns hold 33rd and 67th overall pick, which would possibly give them a potential to select Jackson Dart, Quinn Ewers, Jalen Monroe, or Kyle McCord. This is going to be a franchise-changing draft for the Browns.
Hey,
what you thinking, Ocho?
I like it. I like it. You know, their identity anyway is their defense, honestly, until you get a quarterback at the helm that can change the franchise right around like Jaden Daniels has done, like a C.J. Stroud has done. But can you imagine Denzel Ward and goddamn Travis Hunter?
I don't care if you got Denzel Ward. I don't care if you got Prime Time. I don't care if you got Mel Blount. I don't care if you got Reavers. If you cannot score, you cannot win in this league, Ocho.
Yeah.
And Jeff, both I kind of agree with both of them. Hunter and Ward, yeah, that's intriguing. But that offense needs playmakers. We don't know what
they do.
If Nick Chubb comes back, you don't know what version of Nick Chubb you're getting. You might get Nick Chubb that Browns fans have come to love. Jerry Jeudy had a great year. Can he do it again? Does he threaten the defense? And Njoku has to get better. You need probably at least 2, maybe 3 guys that are good with the ball in their hands.
Right. So one of the things that you're looking at then is, do you punt on the quarterback this year, get a bridge guy, and hope for the best out of Joe Flacco or Kirk Cousins or Daniel Jones or somebody of that ilk? And maybe Jameis comes back. And as high variance of a player as he is, when he's good, he can still light it up a little bit. I'll go to they brought up C.J. Stroud with the Texans. The draft before they got C.J. Stroud, they took Will Anderson. They loaded up on offensive linemen for better and for worse. They got playmakers in their secondary, and they were a much better core team. So when CJ got there, it made a guy like Nico Collins just explode into another level. It helped their lineman block better that he was there, and they had that much more time together. Anderson, that entire defense, they got so much better, and because of that, there wasn't as much pressure on the quarterback to have to win games by himself. Now, Stroud has proven that he can do that for the most part. That's not a bad situation to look at if you're a Browns fan. And you don't love the quarterbacks here, or you don't think that Shedeur Sanders is going to want to come to Cleveland, you can follow that model. Look, it's painful to keep losing. I get that. I'm old enough to remember a lot of bad Brown seasons. What's one more? I almost say, like, are you gonna look? Are you gonna be better than Baltimore next year? Are you gonna be better than Cincinnati next year? Even if you get a great quarterback, maybe. Like, you got to understand where your place is and where your window is too. It would be great to get that quarterback out of the way and have that locked in. But at the same time, if you got a bad team around him, you're gonna be like the Chicago Bears were this year, where they got Caleb Williams in there, and their offensive line was wretched, their run game was terrible. They were not ready to have a number 1 quarterback be the guy to lead them, whether he was ready or not. I would caution Browns fans to keep that in mind with any quarterback that comes in. Like, they're not going to turn this team around overnight. Jaden Daniels did that in Washington, but you have to look, they replaced 7 starters on that defense, and every single one of them was better than the guy that was there last year. That's a big part of that turnaround. He had a good offensive line. He had Terry McLaurin. That's a pretty good football team that was dying for a quarterback. I don't think the Browns are quite there yet. Although that defense, to Ocho's point, it could be a really nasty defense. And if you get a quarterback that can lead you to 20 points a game, it gets you to 8 wins probably.
Yeah.
that's progress. That's where you want to be going. You want to be going up the hill. You don't want to be in last place next year. I think that's a very realistic goal for this Browns team, no matter what they do in the draft, is to not finish in last in the AFC North. Maybe even climb up to second. It's feasible. Not going to be easy though.
No, you got
Barry's going to have to hit it out of the park, and you got to get the coaching blend right. That's what happens when you make the decisions that they've made that have not worked out. You got to pay the price for that a little bit, unfortunately.
Yeah, the thing that the defense still has some really good pieces. The question is, with competent quarterback play, do they rebound to the point where they were, a top third? And they might. They very well might.
Good. Yeah, they did make the playoffs the year before with Joe Flacco being who he was. I understand that allure. I wouldn't expect it, but hey, crazier things have happened. Washington was dead to rights. You watched, Houston rise from the dead. My goodness, it happens every year. There's a surprise team or two that rise up. Minnesota their over under win total this year was 6.5. They won 14. With a quarterback that nobody expected, Sam Darnold. Maybe he comes to Cleveland. Once upon a time, we talked about Sam Darnold versus Baker Mayfield versus Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson versus Josh Rosen. Those were fun days. Don't miss that.